Hello. Hey, hi, hello. Welcome and welcome to my channel. My name is Jess. This is my bonnet. I am recording this video in my bonnet for Jen. You're welcome. This is a try a chapter video. However, I'm trying multiple chapters of multiple books. My first book, I've already read a few chapters in, but I needed to film this introduction. So lately, I've been reading a lot of fine books, and I was watching Izzy from Happy for Now's video. I'll link it. And she was talking about video ideas that she would like to see on YouTube, and one was like I forgot if she said a sit down or like a vlogging kind of video, but like, do I even know what I like to read? And I was like, damn, do I know what I like to read? Because lately I'm confused. I don't know if I know what I like to read. So I've chosen multiple books across genres to sample with some help from my patrons. So one I have in physical form that I got from the library, and the others are either from the library but in audio or Kindle Unlimited. So the one that I'm reading currently and have physically is Battle Royale by Koshun Takami, I believe. And this is like, I don't know if Suzanne Collins was directly inspired from this by the Hunger Games. Like, I don't know if she read it or just heard about it, but it definitely came before the Hunger Games. And it's essentially, there's 42 Japanese students, junior high students, who are taken to like an island, and they have to kill everybody until one's left. It's called The Program. And so I'm only a few chapters in. I'm interested though. I'm interested. And then the others, if I remember them all, because I'm recording on my phone currently, but I will input the images, and then if I forget one. I also have Network Effect. That might be the wrong one. It's the 5th Murderbot book by Martha Wells. I haven't read one in years, but for some reason I've been like, do I want sci-fi? So that was on Kindle Unlimited. I also have God Killer by Hannah Kaner. Unsure. That's an adult fantasy book that I've wanted to read for a while since it came out. Love the cover. And I think the third one is already out. I have a contemporary romance that I'll put here. I can't remember. I read the first one by this author that was called Curvy Girl Summer, and I really enjoyed it. And this one recently came out. Another contemporary romance I have is by Christina C. Jones. This is an indie author. I think it's called Catch Me If You Can. It was recommended to me by Ray. I haven't read any CCJ in a while, so I think this one is a romantic suspense, maybe not contemporary romance. Then I also have, what else do I have? Cleopatra was an audiobook that's nonfiction that was recommended to me by Jen. And Dungeon Crawler Carl, which I've heard about for months. It is a fantasy lit RPG, I think. Heard a lot of people rave about it. Unsure if it's for me, but I want to try it. It's on Kindle Unlimited. And those are the only ones I can remember. If there's anything else, I will insert it here. But again, I started with this one. And so I decided to do more chapters, and I don't have a set number. My thought is that I'm going to go with as many chapters as I feel I get a good feel for the book. So this first chapter wasn't, I don't think, a good feel, because it was really kind of just like talking about the students and introducing them. And then the end of the chapter really like starts this process of them getting to the island to start this game, essentially. So now I've read, and the first chapter was longer, and now I've read three chapters, so they're not all the same length, but I don't know. I already know that I'm interested in this one, so I may put this one down and pick up another one. I'm also doing reading sprints right now with my patrons, so maybe I will sample another book, because I already know that I am interested in this one. And we'll see. Like, I want some 4 and 5 stars, like back to back. Is that asking for too much? Because recently all my books have been like 3 or 3.5 stars. So anyway, welcome to the vlog. Hope you enjoyed my bonnet. Okay, first chapter into Dungeon Crawler Carl. And I'm intrigued. I'm gonna read another chapter. So I didn't know much about this book beyond the basic description of it being a lit RPG book. And essentially, homie is in Seattle, and it's kind of like the world ends, and a galactic force has come to like harvest minerals, and a bunch of people are dead, and the ones who are remaining have to go through these levels of this dungeon to try to survive. And so that was the first chapter. I like the introduction of that, and then they're giving him all of, he's basically describing that he's seeing this, like the words kind of just like in front of him, and they're giving all the rules, and I'm like, I hope that they get the rules again, because I wouldn't be able to remember all this. I would be dead. So yeah, gonna read another chapter. So these Murderbot chapters are long, and I haven't read Murderbot in, I think, years. I don't know the last time I read this one. I have been watching the show, which I enjoy. I need to watch the finale, but I don't know if it's because I haven't read it in so long. I don't know if it picks up where the last one left off, but the first chapter felt so confusing, and I just was like, I know it's similar to the other ones because we're in Murderbot's head and it's Murderbot narrating, but I'm just like, I don't. And the second chapter is 22 minutes. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm not in the mood for this one. I know I said I was giving multiple chapters, but like this gave me a good, I think this first chapter was like 15 minutes. That gave me a good taste. And I don't think I'm feeling it right now. And I don't want to read 22 minutes more. I'm now, sorry, Martha, out of the running. It's early. What day is it? I don't know. Tuesday. So yeah. Here we go. So the last thing I remember updating you was that I read a chapter of Murderbot and decided I wasn't in the mood for that. So now I added one more book because I remember seeing this on TikTok a while ago, and then it came up and I was like, oh, I didn't realize it was on Kindle Unlimited. So I think it's a fantasy, maybe murder mystery fantasy story, but it's called The Secret World of Maggie Gray. So I'm gonna try that. So I still have Plus Size Player, Catch Me If You Can, and I haven't tried God Killer, but I'm gonna try this one first because I'm just going to. I'm so tired. But I'm gonna do that and come back. Do I know what it's about? Let's see. It says, a vampire, a witch, and a siren get accepted into a magical HBCU. That's all I got. Okay. Yes, Bonnet is back. Wow, it's giving French. It's thundering outside. I'm like, it's time for me to go to bed. Unfortunately, I'm sleepy. So I am 6% into this. This is indie, I'm pretty sure. And so the chapters are kind of weird, but so like Kindle was saying that I still was in one chapter. Excuse me. Kindle was saying that I was in one chapter, but it had 3 different chapter headings, so I'm counting that as 3 chapters. Interested. I'm very interested. So we have Maggie Gray, who's like a graduate student, and she's not doing too well in this class, and she's supposed to be talking about civil rights, and she tells them a story that her grandmother told her about, like, during the civil rights movement, how some of the prominent leaders were actually like vampires and fairies and sirens. And she ends up talking to her professor after class, because he's like, see me after class, and he's like, yes, actually, yes, and here I want to recommend you to this summer program at basically a magical HBCU. And then we've just got a perspective from like a guy at the school, and the professor has see that lighting? I'm like, is it a tornado warning I don't know about? Seeing how they mess with the weather service. The guy that's at the school is getting messages from the professor saying, be careful, she could be dangerous, but she may help us take down this family. That's what I know so far. The writing's pretty good. I would keep reading this, but I'm doing this try a chapter thing, so like that one's staying on the list, but I'm hungry. I don't know, I need to go eat before we lose power, child. I really thought I was getting a good storm and it passed. Sorry for the shitty lighting. I'm not sorry because I'm not getting up to turn the light on. So next I'm gonna try God Killer. This says, enter a land of gods and monsters, soldiers and mercenaries, seekers and wishes. Gods are forbidden. Oh, I just scrolled up. Hold on. Gods are forbidden in the kingdom of Midrin, formed by human desires and fed by their worship. There are countless gods in the world, but after a great war, the new king outlawed them and now pays God killers to destroy any who try to rise from the shadows. Interesting. So our main character, after her family was murdered by a fire god, she makes a living killing them and enjoys it, but it's all changed when she's tasked with helping a young noble girl with a god problem. So let's give this here a read-see and see what I think. Now that was an opening chapter. Whew. Pre-run fuel. Hello. It's Wednesday. Here is a vlog interlude. I went running, so I'm going to show you my sweaty body. It was cooler this morning. Cooler. Still very humid. But today I'm going to finish my try a chapter vlog. I have Patreon sprints, so that's what I'm going to do that. But anyway, I just wanted to tell somebody I ran. Okay? And this might be lopsided. You're on the back of the car. What do you want from me? Sprints have started. I am so tired. I'm gonna go make a second coffee. I already had one before my run. But I'm gonna go make a second coffee. I have 2 more books to try samples of. So I'm gonna make the coffee and come back and tell you what I thought about God Killer. And then I have 2 more books to sample for this video. And I'll recap those and then all of the books and what I plan to read. And I look really tired because I am. Wow. Okay, God Killer. So the first chapter, or it's like a prologue, was so good. Such a good opening. Explains what happened to the main character and her family. I was like, damn. Then we go to the present and we're getting her because she's one of the people who are hired to kill gods. And that's how that first chapter starts. Very interesting. Then the second chapter goes into this other character who she's going to come in contact with, who's like the reason for her kind of changing up what she does. That one was a little, I don't know if I was getting sleepy or it just felt a little bit more confusing, but I'm still very interested in that one. So I'm on a really good streak. Even if these next 2 don't work out, I have a lot of good options to choose from. So sorry, this is my life. That basket stays on the bed. And so I'm going to drink this coffee. And next I'm going to read, hold on, it's my glamorous life. So the 2 I have left are both, one's a romantic suspense, which is Catch Me If You Can by Christina C. Jones. And another one is a contemporary romance, Plus Size Player by Danielle Allen. I'm going to start with that one, see how I feel, and then I'll be back. And then we'll do Christina C. Jones, and I'll wrap this video up. That's been very glamorous and very low budget. So I read 2 chapters in Plus Size Player by Danielle Allen. And it's fine. It's like a normal contemporary romance, how it starts. I don't know. The helicopter scene was, I won't say it was a bit much. I just was like, oh, I was not expecting that. And I skimmed most of it. But just compared to the other books that I've read, this is not holding, like this doesn't, I'm not like, ooh, I want to get back to this one. I'm like, Dungeon Crawler Carl, God Killer, even the Secret Life of Gray, Maggie Gray. So I think because all of those are like fantasy and they have something magical going on, this contemporary romance is not high on my list of like, ooh, I want to get back to this. But like, it's off to a fine start. So I'm going to try the romantic suspense. That'll be my last one. But I think this sprint is about to be over. Well, 10 minutes. Let's see. Maybe I'll be back. Hey, so this is not cleared out background. Oh well, you have to deal with it. I'm finished. So the only one I listened to a little bit of Cleopatra, and I'm just not in the mood for that type of nonfiction, but I've like added it to my Libby TBR to come back to. So I've read all of my ebooks, plus while you're sitting on Battle Royale. So out of all of my books, let me think. If I had to rank them in order of what I want to read most to least, I think I would say Dungeon Crawler Carl is the first one. Then Battle Royale, God Killer, The Secret World of Maggie Gray. What else did I read? Catch Me If You Can, Plus Size Player, Network Effect, Cleopatra, out of all of those. So Dungeon Crawler Call, I think, is just like really entertaining from the very first chapter, especially it being like we're reading it and we're getting little drop down menus that he's seeing, and I'm very interested in that one. Just what I read, because I read a few chapters for the video and then I did read a couple more, so that's one I'm definitely going back to. This is editing Jessica, obviously, from the future. Well, future of this video, and this was me continuing to read Dungeon Crawler Carl. Uncertain if this humor works for me. So this is like, he doesn't have shoes, and like a video game, you know, they get like loot boxes and stuff. And this one was just weird. Like the humor that comes up in like these like dialogue boxes are weird. Especially that first line, him breathing like he was a dude beating himself off while he said it. Killing with your feet, your beautiful bare feet. It's really that top line. And so since then I've put it down. I don't know. It may just be too dude bro humor for me. But I felt like I owed you that update. Battle Royale's first chapter was a little slow. But there's already... I read a couple more chapters. There's already murdering happening. So I'm very interested to see what kind of like how it happens. Like, is it like the Hunger Games, or like are there tasks, are there trials that they have to do, like games they play, or is it just like a free-for-all? I'm very interested to get back to that one. And then my third one, did I say God Killer as my third one? Again, another one I had a great start, and I think I may go back and reread, because I read the prologue in the first chapter, the first and second chapter. I might go back and reread the second chapter, because I think I was reading it and was getting tired because I was kind of confused. But those are like my top three. The Secret Life of Maggie Gray, also very interested in that one. With the magical HBCU and like the whole vampires. I think there's vampires, sirens, maybe fairies? Or is it werewolves? Those all... Well, Battle Royale's not fantastical, but like the murdery premise got me. But the rest of them, the fantastical, it seems that's what I'm in the mood for right now. Wasn't feeling Murderbot, and just not in the mood for like contemporary romance. The Catch Me If You Can had an interesting first chapter. I just don't know if I want... Because like one guy is set in Paris. The guy is an FBI agent, and the girl is like, I think she is a thief. And I just don't think I'm in the mood for that dynamic, or nonfiction. So this did help, because I'm very interested in these top 4 books, and that is what I'm going to be working on reading. So hopefully I will eventually post a wrap up, and will let you know all of my thoughts about them, or if I get into them further and decide to DNF. But has been a very successful challenge. I think I've done this before. I usually don't want to read any of them. So I'm happy about these, but definitely, I think, yeah, although I put Dungeon Crawler Call up first, I might read Battle Royale first, just because that one's due back to the library, and I have Dungeon Crawler Carl from Kindle Unlimited, so that one's gonna be my priority, those two. Or I mean, I might flip back between the two, because they're different stories. So If you've read any of these, let me know. The other ones that weren't in my top 4, I think, I don't know if I'll continue with Murderbot, to be honest. I've been watching the show and I like that. I don't know, I might come back to it at one point. But like plus size player, I don't know. Catch Me If You Can, I think I would read in a different mood because it is Christina C. Jones. I just don't want to read that right now. So anyway, love this for me. Again, let me know your thoughts if you've read any of these or are planning to read any of them. And that's gonna wrap it up for this very chaotic, low budget little vlog. That's it. Thanks for watching. Stay blessed, hydrated, moisturized, and sunscreen. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.